Hello, hello, internet world. This is Norma Joe. So, no wig, no makeup. I just got out of the shower. No wine, no weed, no anything. Okay? I don't even have real clothes. I had to take this out of my scrap box. This fucking ocelot shirt that I hand painted with all this detail and shit. But it doesn't fit me right. It's pain in the ass to get on and off. So I put it in my scrap box, turn it into a doll. But I'm wearing it tonight. I didn't have any clothes. They're all in the fucking wash. And I didn't want to put my shirt back on from today because I went through the forest with it on. And it probably still has essence of forest on it, and I just showered. So anyways, I'm gonna read another one of these stories. I really want to fucking get them all. And then I can get rid of all this paper. Just upload my stories to YouTube. Okay. So, this next story might be fucking terrible, I don't know. It's definitely... This is one of the first short stories I wrote. And I'll just tell you what was going on. I was trying to do like my own like Twilight Zone episode. We used to watch a lot of Twilight Zone back then. I always wanted to do one of those like stories with like a twist ending, you know? So, I don't know. But I was also 12, so it might be terrible. Anyway, damn, I'm almost 2 minutes in. God. Anyway, this is the front cover. I don't know if it can be really seen. There's like a fucking lady crying on the top. She's crying blood, I think, and a hand is catching it. And there's a big ass fire in the middle. And then on the bottom is a raccoon on one side and a cat with one eye on the other side. And you see that shit? And the story is called Dreamsong. Anyway, okay. Okay. Chapter 1. Rustle, rustle. There it was again, that rustling sound that had been going on for all eternity. Jennifer's sky blue eyes were bloodshot, and her ears wrung under her long black hair. As she ran a scratched and raw hand through that matted, greasy hair, she decided she would stop that noise once and for all. But the window wouldn't open. Suddenly, she felt something against her leg. It was a rifle. She picked it up and bashed it against the window glass. Glass rained on her from all directions like cold ocean spray. As she looked around, she noticed that she was on the front porch of the cabin. Rustle, rustle. It was right in front of her. She aimed the rifle and fired. Chapter 2. Jennifer snapped awake. Her boyfriend Dave lay fast asleep in bed beside her, drooling on the pillow. Jennifer threw on some clothes, splashed some water on her fair face, and went downstairs. Perfectly normal morning. Except, what was that dream? She pushed the thought away like a bug, and went back to sit on the bed. She watched Dave sleep for a second. He could have been her brother. Same build, same skin and hair color, but his eyes, when opened, were a steely gray. I remember back in these days when you always had to say everybody's like hair, eye, skin color. Now you practically can't say that shit because people get mad. So, oh, how times have changed. Man, I remember all the role-playing, all the internet role-playing back in the day. Eyes, hair, skin, height, weight. So many. Shirt, pants. So many memories. Anyways. What was I gonna talk about? And it's funny how she's like dating a guy that apparently looks like her. But you know how there's some couples like that where like, it's like, couple or siblings, you know? Anyway, whatever. Oh, Dave, of all places to rent a summer cabin, why here? Why did you choose this godforsaken hole? She said softly to herself. Oh, I guess that was supposed to be soft. Jennifer had, not been having a good time on her vacation. Despite how she loved the forest, which is where they were, she thought the place was boring and ghostly. Rye chittered and stepped gently onto her lap. She laid a hand on his fur without a word and started to pet him mechanically. Rye was their raccoon. Since it was a summer cabin, and summer is like that, the owner didn't think the place needed protection from the elements, or at least she acted like that. The door only locked when it wanted to, and Rye just walked in. I guess that's how this two young couple were able to afford renting a cabin for the whole summer. Because you know that shit would be expensive as fuck, but I guess they got a fucking crackhead cabin or something like that. This is also very common from back in the day, too. Like, everything always had to be, like, run down, because that made it cool, and bullshit like that. Anyway. Where was I? The door only locked when it wanted to, and Rye just walked in. He wouldn't leave, and they didn't make him. So this is a fucking stray raccoon. Can you imagine just letting a raccoon come into your life and then petting it, letting it sit in your lap? Like, no, we're not scared of rabies. It's cool, you know? Where was I? Their neighbor raised hell, saying he was a doomed tame beast. Jennifer and Dave just flipped her off. Stupid nosy hag from next door. Chapter 3. And I hate the way you always do this to me. And I hate this place. This is all like yelling, but I'm too tired to do all that. And I hate this whole damn trip. Jennifer couldn't believe she was saying this, but part of her liked it. He was scared. She could see it in his face. Good, she thought. Let him feel what it's like to be trapped and afraid. Her stupid so-called boyfriend had been out again, without her knowing, in the middle of the fucking forest. Like, where is he gonna go? She didn't even know he'd left at all until she walked through the cabin, heard her empty footsteps, and known she was alone. He didn't even leave a note. The door didn't even lock. He came back laughing while she was curled into a ball in the corner. Fine then, bitch. Let's see how you do without me at all. And before she could stop him, he slammed the front door shut and was gone. Jennifer ran to the door, threw it open, and looked around for him. Nowhere. He couldn't have gotten that far that fast, could he? What's going on here? Jennifer said out loud. I can answer that. Who said that? The only other one in the room was Rye, sitting up on his haunches behind her. Okay. Chapter 4. God, I miss the ability to just write chapters that are just like a single page long, or even just like half a page sometimes. Oh, what a days. Chapter 4. Jennifer woke up in a cold bed. Dave wasn't back yet. The bed was wet and sticky. She pushed herself up, disgusted. She recognized the scent, too. Was this some stupid trick of Dave's? She looked over at where he'd normally be and gaped, I think. I don't know if that's supposed to be gasped, or it means it's like she's just hanging her mouth open or whatever. In surprise. There in bed with her was Rye. He had a beer can in his paws and was trying to drink out of it, but almost all of it was spilling on the bed and his own coal-colored fur. Rye, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know why I said it like that. It wasn't stretched out. It just has like a question mark and exclamation, but I'm not gonna yell. So, you know. Jennifer grabbed him and carried him to the door. He fought and hissed at her. Put me down, bitch. This is like the raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. She opened the cabin door and tossed him out before she realized what she just heard. He can't have talked. I was imagining it. But why and how was he drinking beer? Suddenly she noticed it was very quiet. Her neighbor would normally be screaming at her by now, saying some stupid thing like, I told you a raccoon is a huge job. Well, you tamed him now. He's your responsibility. Jennifer crept outside and peeked into the window of her neighbor's cabin. Nothing. Did the crazy old bat finally leave? Who really says bat anymore? For like that. How could she have moved out so quickly? A loud noise screamed from inside her own cabin. She tore inside and gave a screeching growl of rage. Chapter 5. Rye was backed into a corner, and in front of him was a huge cat. Its ivory coat seemed to almost cling to its bones. The beast was so thin. Only one eye shone bright yellow. The other looked as if the lids had been sewn together long ago. But Jennifer didn't feel sorry for it. She felt horrified and enraged. This was no cat. This was a demon. It opened its blood-red mouth and hissed. That's what it says, with like a bunch of exclamation points. It's supposed to be onomatopoeia for hissing, I guess. Fangs like daggers were revealed behind its black-red lips. See. Was it speaking? Stay there, or I'll rip you apart. This is like all stretched out with like multiple like letters, you know, but I'm not gonna say it like that. You can imagine it's supposed to be like half hissing, half talking, like in Harry Potter, I guess, like when they speak snake talk. But I'm not gonna get theatrical. The cat licked its lips and clawed at the floorboards. It pretended to pounce, landing 2 inches from Rye and making him flatten himself against the wall in terror. Jennifer felt something against her leg. That dream. She hadn't thought about that dream since it happened. Now it seemed things were happening exactly the same way. She grabbed the rifle. That dream, remember that dream. Voices echoed in her head. In one desperate movement, she lunged at the Iveron cat and whacked it with the butt of the gun. Chapter 6, the last chapter. The cat yowled and recoiled, backing up and down the room. Finally it stopped, and in an instant it disappeared. Oh, thank you. That cat would have killed me. Jennifer sat transfixed as the raccoon spoke to her, with Dave's voice. Instantly she remembered Rye's incident in bed. Well, Dave liked to drink too, but he never made a mess like that. She wasn't seeing things. That was Dave's look of fear that the raccoon wore when he was cornered by the feline. I don't know how she can tell that, but it's a fucking Twilight Zone, so, you know, whatever. Well, I guess you should know the truth, he continued. That night you were sleepwalking and you shot yourself dead. How ironic. We had the rifle for protection. You know how the door never closed? Now in this other world, Dave is me and our damn neighbor was that cat. She wanted to get rid of me all along, didn't she? Well, it's not so easy to get rid of a demon. He gave a yip-like laugh. Probably like that. Like, something, I don't know, whatever. You see, it's not you who decides if or not you go to hell. It's the one you're most attached to. That sucks. Thank you so much for making me your number one, Jennifer, but I'll tell you what, I was never that nice of a guy. Damn. Jennifer looked all around. She ran to the windows and door, trying to get out. The raccoon, and it said, I don't know why, but instead of saying raccoon, it's like R apostrophe coon. It's like raccoon. I don't know what that's all about, but I was 12. Laughed and laughed. Finally, with dim, hopeless, bloodshot eyes, she paused and sat down. She stared off into space, seeing nothing with those once pretty sky blue eyes. Her ears rung one under long, greasy, matted hair, which was once a silky, ebony river. Now all of her was most like a tar pit. What the fuck? Somewhere, Rye, Dave, was laughing. the end. Okay. I'm starting to notice, like, a trend here. So, like, why is this one kind of similar to that other one with those, like, werewolves in it? Where it's just, like, about a couple. And apparently the couple is, like, a shitty couple. And, like, but, you know, I miss the days, even though I'm glad I don't write like this anymore. Like I said, I was in middle school, so what do you fucking want? And, like, it's just nice to, like, nowadays when I write stories, I worry about, you know, even if it's, like, an abstract or a fantasy story where you really don't have to fucking worry about, like, realism at all. Like, I still worry about some things being somewhat realistic, like this thing of, like, well, I don't know, it never says what kind of jobs they have, but, like, the idea that, like, two young people would be renting a cabin for the entire summer, and it would be a shitty cabin, where they have their own gun and the door doesn't close, like, none of that shit really makes that much sense, you know what I mean? It's more like a dream, where, like, in the dream you might take everything for granted that it's just true. Then when you wake up, you're like, wait, why did, like, my house have, like, 3 doors, and, like, one of them was hella small, like, I had to crawl through it, and somehow I, like, shrunk and got big again, and then there was, like, another person in the yard, and then, like, why were these people there, and then, like, there was a dog, and seeing the dog made me go back inside, and then the whole house was a different house, like, you know, different layout and stuff, like, you know, that's the type of shit that happens in dreams. That's how I used to write, too. I always wanted to make, like, these, like, trippy stories that were, like, all, like, mind-fucky, basically, and stuff like that. So, anyways, but, yeah, it's really funny to me how, like, 2 out of 3 stories I've read so far are, like, basically about, like, fucked up relationships. Like, before it was, like, you know, the dude left his girlfriend in jail because they had a fight or whatever. She was, like, invading his privacy or whatever. This time it's like she just has a fucking asshole boyfriend, I guess. You know, they just don't seem like neither one of them seems like a bad person, but they just don't fucking seem to like each other. You know, like, they're sick of each other. Like, she probably gets pissed off that he wants to drink beer in bed. He's probably sick of everything about her. She's probably sick of everything about him. I don't know. It's the way it seems. And the thing with the raccoon, like, I don't know. But it's fun. In a way, I really like stories like this, because it's like I said, it all just comes, like, straight off the head, you know? Like, no fucking thought to, like, would this be realistic, you know? Are people gonna believe this? It's like, I didn't even think about that, like, for a second. Like, back then. Like, literally not even a fucking second. The only thought in my head was, like, what do I want to write, you know? What do I see in my head? Whatever it was, I'll put it down. I don't care how fucking stupid or crazy it was, you know? So, kudos to those days. I'm thinking about reading one more story. The next story is, like, pretty much just as bad as this one. It's like another, like, fake-ass Twilight Zone. Yeah, maybe I'll read one more and then I can throw them both away. That would be nice. Wonder how many stories I got left. Let me see. I really am curious. I wouldn't mind doing a video for each one. Oh god, they're so... Oh, no. The last one's long. Holy shit, you know what's fucking weird? Sometimes I find stories and I thought that they were, like, 2 pages long. They're fucking, like... The last story in here is called Super Babies, which I wrote... This isn't for middle school. This is, like, a little later in life. I forgot when. I think, like, around college or something. I forgot. But, anyway. Look at how fucking fat that shit is. What the fuck? I don't remember writing all that. I don't remember all that. Dude, some stories I just have to, like, throw away without even reading them, though. Because some are just awful. I have this one story... I don't want to drag this video on forever, but just a little longer. I wrote this one story. It was actually pretty cool because, like, it was senior year of high school. One of our English teachers died, actually. But, so that was really sad. I mean, I didn't know him, but, you know, it's not good when somebody dies. But, anyway, because of that, all of the, English classes got moved around, and my class wound up, like, having just, like, a string of substitutes, like, for the entire rest of the year. We had, like, 5 different substitutes that were, like, back to back, you know? And the last substitute we had said that for, like, our final, like, you know, project before graduation, like, it was basically just, like, free project. We could do anything we wanted, we just had to put effort into it. So we left it, like, super open-ended, so I was like, well, I'm gonna write a story, because that's what I like to do, you know? And so, I wrote a story. He gave me an A for it, because he said it was really long. It was, like, 30 pages. It wasn't really 30 pages. It's probably, like, 18 pages, I don't know, written in the notebook, like, by hand, you know? So if I typed it, it would probably even be, like, half that, you know? But, what was I gonna say? Anyway, that story is a fucking, like, I mean, that story is, like, a fucking shit show. Like, it's called Toto and Win. It's about these 2 motherfuckers that meet and start hanging out, and, like, one of them, the first guy is Win. He's just, like, this depressed asshole that lives in a shitty apartment complex in a bad neighborhood, of course. You're gonna see this theme a lot. Like, I don't know. You know how Stephen King always writes about alcoholics stuff, or something like that? Like, some writers just have, like, themes that always come back. I always write about, like, people in shitty neighborhoods, so, like, yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, he lives there, and, like, literally the first thing that happens is, like, he's having a flashback to, like, I guess his neighbor was, like, a fucking hooker or something. She had, like, 2 kids, and then she fucking died, and then the kids were looking for her, or trying to get help for her or something, but she was already dead, and it starts off, like, super fucking, like, depressing, like that. And then, basically, he gets a tip from one of his friends, I think, tell him to come hang out with some guy named Toto, because Toto is, like, cool, and Toto is a dancer. But then, it was supposed to be basically, like, Toto dies in the end somehow. He had, like, something wrong with his heart or some shit, and it was supposed to somehow come full circle. I forgot how. But I never finished the fucking story because I ran out of time. I was working on it, like, you know, near the end of the school year. Then eventually I had to just turn it in without finishing it. And he gave me an A anyway for effort, like I said, for writing, like, a lot of pages. But, I never finished the story, and I don't want to anymore. It was so long ago. And the story is literally just, like, an excuse to be depressing and emo. So, not all stories are good. Stories like that I won't read on camera. I'll just, like, throw them away. And remember the memory. But, some other more interesting, weirder stories I do want to read. Just to remember, you know, just to remember them. As I move along the road of life, can look back and see what kind of things I was writing as a youngin'. I think that's it for now. Okay, I'm gonna read one more story. It's called The Division. Wait until you hear this shit, because I do remember, like, what this story is about. And, it's fucking stupid, but just wait.